Hey guys, if you couldn't guess from the title, I'm doing something a little bit different today. Though, if you couldn't guess from the title, you could probably guess from the slightly different settings around me. You might have noticed, if you've watched any of my previous videos, that I have a lot of cushions on my sofa. So I decided to pair each of my cushions with a book. Hence, books and cushions. The first cushion is one I've had for a few years. It's a gift from a good friend, and it's this one. It was originally quite a plump cushion, but it's been worn down and battered. The fluff has got all matted, and though it's still very comfortable, the back is very soft, and this is very fluffy. It needs the support of something else. It's just and so I decided to pair it with a worn down old favourite, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Worn down doesn't mean tired or boring, it means I got this copy second hand from my school library. For 10p. That is the first 11 chapters. Yeah. If you haven't read this book, go and read this book. Who are you? Why are you watching this video? What is wrong with you? Or yes, Siri. Please get around to reading them. But yeah, it's just an old favourite that's a bit battered over time, but is still love. The next cushion is this one. It originally had a little Kiwi in there, but that's a little toy, but that's gone missing. This is from my aunt and uncle who live in New Zealand, and it just always makes me think of them and family, so I picked Chicken Feathers by Joy Cowley. It's a fun, quirky little tale about a chicken who can talk. Henrietta, the grouchy old hen. This is by an author from New Zealand, it's set in New Zealand, and it was sent to me by my aunt and uncle who live in New Zealand. So, yeah. Obviously I'm going to pair the book I got from them with the cushion I got from them. But it's a fun, quirky little story. It's just really funny. There's mentions of alcoholism. Not a human alcoholic, but the hen is an alcoholic. So maybe not suitable for the younger readers, but it's just a lovely book and it's fun. It's just fun. The next cushion is my Tasmanian Devil cushion, because I was way into Looney Tunes and all of that kind of thing as a child, so it's just an absolute childhood fave that you've loved for years and years and years and have stuck with you through thick or thin. And so my pick for the book is The Fairies of Bluebell Wood, and I forget who actually wrote this. Doesn't want to tell me. Kath, Mellentin and Tim Wood. It's one of those really, those padded children books, those giant hardbacks that are actually really cushy. This was my favourite story as a child. I made my mum read this to me over and over again. That's how long this has been my favourite. And it just means so much to me. And it makes me think of younger, more innocent and happy times. Just like Taz. This cushion is this one, my pop art black and white Campervans, a funky twist on a classic. And for this I've gone for actually an entire series of books, little folio of them, and these are Retold Shakespeare by Matthew Ross. The Shakespeare Stories by Matthew Ross, actually. And they're kids' books, so they're massively abridged. They miss out a lot of characters and a lot of small plot points. One of my friends came around who's currently doing A-level English, and we got out Hamlet, and her two favourite characters are these two side characters, and they aren't in here at all. Only the main characters are mentioned. And obviously they're taken from one point of view. With the original plays you can read them from multiple interpretations. These are just one person's interpretation, but they're a wonderful introduction to Shakespeare and the classic stories. The next cushion is this one. My parents actually have an entire set of these, but this was my favourite, so I stole it and have it on my bed, which is why his stomach is wearing through, because I used to sleep on this. So I went with something that I stole from, well, was given to me by a parent that has become an unexpected favourite over time, and that is The Summer of the Bear by Bella Pollen. My mum bought this. I was originally planned to do with this what I do with all of the books my mum reads and then gives to me, and that is what she does, which is read them and get rid of them. But I fell in love with the story and the storytelling and the magic of it, and so now it's staying. The next cushion, to come up with a better way of saying that, is this one. This is a pure silk Laura Ashley cushion that I actually got for free. I used to work in a charity shop, and they would get a lot of donations, so anything that was damaged, they would throw out. As you might be able to see, there are some grease stains on this, and it's really difficult to get out. So, it's a beautiful, beautiful cushion, and I saved it, because, unfortunately, it's fundamentally flawed. So for this, I went with The Red Queen by Philippa Gregory. Don't get me wrong, I love this book, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with Philippa Gregory's writing or characterization. The flaw is with the character herself. She's not the nicest character, and definitely not as a main character. But it's a very interesting perspective. I know this isn't obviously 100% historically accurate, it is a fictional retelling of real events, but it's just a fantastic read. It's interesting. It just comes at history from a different angle. And it's something that you can just appreciate for its flaws. Yeah. The next cushion is my lovely cross-stitch owls. I actually made this. Took a lot of hard work, but it was definitely worth it. Because, as you can see, it's very comfy. My mum helped me with doing the back, because I wasn't that great at using a sewing machine, because I did this a few years ago. And so for this one, I went for The Geek Manifesto by Mark Henderson. This book, okay, this is mostly about British society and politics and things. I just want to show you. Under the dust jacket, it's significantly less loud. My mum bought it for me because it had the word geek in the title. Sorry. Dust jackets don't like me. It links this in another way because my mum actually bought this for herself and then I stole it. But there's a theme here. I tend to steal things from my mum. She wasn't gonna do it, she's had it for years. And so she bought me this for either my birthday or Christmas a few years ago. I started reading it about half a dozen times and gave up after about 20 or 30 pages because I just didn't have the patience, because it's about science and geekiness, it's more nerdiness really, yeah, but it's also about media and education and politics and how all those things interlink, and when I actually did read it, it was fascinating and insightful and so very much worth reading and very much worth all the false starts and all the time I'd had to put into it. Just took me a while to get there. Only a couple left. Next one is my smallest one, and that is this little fish thing that I made in textiles in year 7. And it's something you loved at the time, but your love has faded with perspective and time, as this pillow has faded with time. And that is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Yes, the entire series. I like box sets, okay? I read these books a good... when did I read them? Probably 6 years ago now. And, okay, first off, I want to say I am Christian, I don't mind Christian themes in books. I do mind... The Last Battle bothers me a bit, because... Okay, if you've read The Last Battle, it's... Minor spoilers now. It's essentially Judgment Day, and I would not be going to a nice place on traditional Judgment Day, if you go exactly by the catechism and that sort of thing. I am not going anywhere pleasant. I don't actually believe in that. I'm different branch of Christianity, but it still bothers me some. I do still like the stories and everything. Particularly love The Magician's Nephew and The Horse and His Boy, but these will always mean something to me. But I don't think I'll ever be able to read them or love them the way I did when I first read them. An ultimate one, and that is actually this beautiful cushion cover that my friend got me for Christmas for Secret Santa. It's absolutely... I love Campervan, and I love textiles, so I think this is absolutely gorgeous, but unfortunately it's completely hollow because I couldn't find a cushion pad that would fit. So I went for one that is all frills and no filling, as they say, or rather, is all hype, no heart. And controversially, that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Because you can't deny it's a beautiful book, like the dust jacket and then the actual cover underneath with that thing. It's a stunning book, but contents-wise, I don't mind plays. I've read quite a few of them. They're not my favourite, but I don't mind the characterisation in them so much. I think this is okay if I take this in the same way. This is lovely as a cushion cover, it just doesn't do very well as a cushion. This is lovely as fan fiction, does not do so well as an 8th book. Not in the least because it's a play, not a book. I think it's well written. I'm not mad at it. If I consider it fan fiction, just highly endorsed, well-reviewed fan fiction that's gone very far, then yes, this is okay. I don't agree with the plot, I don't agree with the themes, and it does not fit any of my headcanons or anything I would ever think about this series. But I can respect their headcanons, and I'm used to OOC characters, so. The final cushion cover is this one. As you notice, I said cushion cover, it doesn't currently have this. I actually use this as a cushion, as the cushion that goes inside here, because I don't like looking at that one. But as you can see, it's incomplete. This used to be a pair of my jeans, and I've ironed that on, but I have yet to sew it on because my needles keep bending when I try. Need to get better needles, and I ran out of blue embroidery silk, and I can't find any more in that shade. I'm going to just do the claw in a different shade of blue. Yeah, so I chose something that's been lots of work. It's a real project, but it's turning out really well, even though it's not quite finished yet, and that is Storm and Silence by Rob Thier, or Thier. This is a Wattpad, originally on Wattpad, now also available on Radish, story. This is the first book in a series of 3 that are currently out. Two of them are published, one of them is available for pre-order. I do own the first and second ones, but I just wanted to show you the first one, which is Sloppy. He's an independent writer, self-published, done an awful lot of work. He's German, but this series in particular is written in English. It's lovely and soft, and it's just incredible what someone can achieve if they put their mind to it. Yeah, that was all of my cushions as books. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, hope you have a great week and a great reading week, and goodbye.